Let's be real, Katherine Pierce is not only the ultimate villain, she's the ultimate it girl. Hi everyone, welcome back, and I thought something that could be fun for the month of October is to talk about different villains that I feel like don't get enough credit for how awesome they are. And my favorite is Katherine Pierce. She has got to be one of the best TV villains of all time, in my opinion. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Katherine Pierce is the iconic doppelganger of Elena in the Vampire Diaries TV show. If you, for some reason, have not seen this show, I believe it's on HBO Max right now. Go check it out. It is perfect for the fall vibes, and it's just such a good time overall. And while I do love Elena, I feel like Katherine doesn't get enough credit for how amazing and strong she is. And I feel like there's a lot of traits in her that actually we could all benefit from emulating. So let's talk about it. So it's actually kind of funny because for the longest time, I've always wanted to be more like Katherine. I have made little vision boards before of quotes that Katherine has, outfits she wears, and just her overall vibe and sense of self that I feel like is unlike any other character I can think of, honestly. And so I want to just kind of go through the different aspects of that. So actually, funny enough, in my Notion, I have a little Katherine Pierce section where it's all things Katherine Pierce. And so just to kind of give you an idea, we have different quotes here. We have a gif of her saying, "Did it ever occur to you that you have no idea who I really am?" We also have the quote, "I'm Katherine Pierce, I survive." What else do we have? Similarly, here it is. "Please, I'm a survivor. I survived childbirth, the death of my entire family, and 500 years of running from an immortal hybrid. You can understand why I'm a little upset that I'm on the verge of being defeated by a viral infection." And so many other ones. We have this one here. "Yeah, I've done some pretty horrible things to survive, but unlike you, poor, delicate Elena, I don't turn it off, I deal with it. It must be exhausting trying to be me. You know my name, not my story. I already killed you once, I can easily do it again." And just all these different pictures of her just being awesome. "I always get what I want." Again, just all this stuff about her mindset that I feel like is very much it girl and is kind of entering your villain era in the best way. Even this quote, "If we cease to believe in love, then why would we want to live?" And so I guess that'll bring me to my first thing about Katherine is Katherine, despite the fact that she can very easily be viewed as self-serving or selfish or anything like that, she's actually really caring and has a very loving heart. It's just that she is very selective with who she gives that love to and who she shows that affection towards. And I feel like there's nothing really wrong in that. I feel like that's something that we all talk about. It's like you don't want to just go and give all your feelings to someone who may or may not be deserving, who you may or may not know that well. Like she, I think, is protecting her heart because she's been scorned in the past. And while I'm not necessarily saying that that's a great thing, because obviously that is unfortunate, I do feel like there is a benefit to just being selective about who you give your energy to. I think it's really, really important nowadays that our energy is our currency, just like our time is. And if you're giving everyone, every single friend, every single loved one, every single relationship, all your energy, regardless of whether or not they deserve it and whether or not they treat you well, it's not going to, all it's going to do is like leave you feeling empty and exhausted, and you're not going to have any room for yourself. And so I feel like Katherine has her priorities straight in a way. She's a woman who chooses herself first, prioritizes herself above everything else and her survival because she's had to. But at the end of the day, she still falls in love, and she still allows herself the grace to fall in love with Stefan and not be ashamed of it. And again, going back to a quote earlier about how she's calling out Elena and saying, unlike you, Elena, I don't turn it off. I think that's also that makes something that makes Katherine so much cooler than any of the other characters in a way, because she faces her emotions when she's upset, when she's afraid, anything like that. She never turns off her humanity. Elena does, Stefan does, Damon does, and I'm not saying that like I wouldn't. I understand the appeal of being able to turn off your emotions. They all go through terrible things. I get why they're turning off their humanity, but I think that there is something so impressive about the fact that Katherine has gone through everything she's gone through and she's not turned off her emotions, which I think for our version, like how we can take that is like when you're going through something terrible in your life, it is so tempting to want to dull those emotions, whether it be with like alcohol or drugs or anything like that, any substances or just detrimental habits or whatever it may be. And I feel like we could all take a page out of Katherine's book and look to her as inspiration for those sorts of situations and be like, you know what, I'm not going to turn it off. I'm going to just let myself feel my feelings and face these emotions and work through it and then move on. And that's going to be the healthiest way to cope with anything that life throws you. So I feel like these aspects to me show how much self-love Katherine has for herself and just how strong she is as a person. And I think it's so easy for us to make that into a villain, especially when it's a woman who's characterizing those sorts of traits. We so easily then just say, oh, she's a terrible person, but I actually feel like she's very relatable in those ways. And I, as I've said, as you can see from my vision board, I aspire to be like her. So let's talk about some of the other things that she does that I really like. So I kind of put different sections on here. So I put a attitude section because I just love Katherine's attitude overall. So I'm going to talk through my different bullet points of what I marked off. Number 1, she is nonchalant. She looks out for herself, not for others' opinions. And I think that this is so, so important that we don't let ourself get bogged down or caught up in what others think of us. There are so many great books out there for stuff like this, including The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. But honestly, even just watching Katherine, I sometimes just pretend I am Katherine and just kind of try to channel her. And I'm just like, you know what? This show constantly shows no one likes Katherine. People judge her for everything. And she doesn't sit and cry about it. She's not self-conscious about it. She doesn't care, because at the end of the day, like, it shouldn't matter what other people think of us. That's obviously easier said than done, and I think that is a skill in and of itself to work on, just the skill of not caring what other people think. But if you need someone to look to who's got it down, that is Katherine Pierce. Second is she's flirty. She goes after who and what she wants unapologetically, and if rejected, she's not embarrassed. This, I think, is one of my favorite things about Katherine, is she has no embarrassment at all when it comes to telling Stefan that she loves him. He tells her he's not interested and he doesn't feel the same way, and she's not embarrassed by the fact that she told him that she has feelings for him. Like, she doesn't care that it's not reciprocated. I'm not saying that someone should pursue someone who doesn't feel, reciprocal feelings of love. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like so many times in our lives when we are attracted to someone or have a crush on someone or whatever it is, we often, especially as women, choose not to reveal that, because the idea that we could tell someone we have feelings for them and them not feel it back, the idea of that is for some reason shameful to us. And I feel like that is so unfortunate, because it should just always be viewed as you're giving that person a compliment. You're just telling that person that, hey, there's things I like about you. You're an awesome person, and I see that. And anyone who takes an admission of feeling of anything other than a compliment, there's something wrong with them. Like, why are they shocked that someone has feelings for them? then that speaks, I think, to a lack of self-love that they're experiencing. I don't think it's a reflection of you. And I think at the end of the day, everyone enjoys hearing that someone loves them or likes them or whatever it is. And so I love the fact that Katherine is unapologetic with her feelings, and she's not going to try to hide it in order to appear like she's strong or independent or anything like that. She's like, no, I like you. That's how I feel. And she owns it. And I think we could all benefit from that more. I've had times before where my first boyfriend, I gave him my number and I told him how I felt. And it was hard. I was very nervous, but it was one of those things. And I've also asked guys out before and not had it go successful. And at the end of the day, I've always said, like, I would rather know than wonder what if I had done it. And also I'm just like, I'm not going to be embarrassed about it, because why is it embarrassing for someone to like you? That's kind of weird if you think it's embarrassing for me to like you, isn't it? So I think she's the best example of that, because she again, kind of going with the nonchalant, she does not care what other people think of her. That is not what she cares about. She cares about herself. She cares about, I like you. End of the day, that's all it is. And I love her for that. Next, she is self-care focused. You never catch her looking off. She always has her makeup done, her hair done. She's got the right outfit. She's always in like heels. She takes pride in her appearance. And that's something that I am really working on, because that's something that I think for the longest time I didn't value. And I think I've just seen a big difference in terms of when I show up for myself in that way versus when I don't. And today's not really a day I'm necessarily doing it. And sometimes, like, I can't always be 100% showing up in the way Katherine does, but I really admire her for that. And that's something that I think that if we're trying to emulate Katherine Pierce more, that is something you will except for later on in the show, which spoiler alert, when she's human and everything. Other than that, you never catch her looking bad. She is always prepped and ready to go, ready to like walk the runway. She's health conscious. She prioritizes her beauty sleep, and when she's like offered chips, she refers to them as packaged poison, not real food. Obviously, I think everything within balance, right? You don't need to be extreme at all, but I do really like that she cares about taking care of herself, like health-wise as well. Obviously a little bit different because she also mainly eats blood, but still. This again, we've said this before, but I'll say it one more time. When something hurts, she deals with it. She doesn't turn her emotions off in the face of trauma. She's a romantic and a realist. She is ambitious as hell. She plays things close to the chest. She's not going to just tell you her desires or plans and risk it. And now this is different than like telling someone you have feelings for them. What I'm talking about is like when she has a plan to like get back at Klaus or whatever it is, whenever she has goals in terms of getting stuff done, she doesn't even tell Stefan, who she loves. She doesn't tell anyone that stuff. She plays it close to the chest, and she is very careful and very smart about who she tells her desires to. And I think that that's something that we can all take a page out of Katherine's book for that, because it's just always good to be, there's nothing, you don't need to keep everything to yourself, but there is nothing wrong with being selective about who you share that sort of information with. And then lastly, if someone helps her, she returns the favor when she can. She doesn't like to owe favors, but she's not going to return them at her own expense either. And I think that's very important too. Again, Katherine very much is going to put herself first, and then still, and then after that, she will take care of the ones she loved. Like, she's going to put her own oxygen mask on, but if you help her out, she's got your back. Like when Damon helped her escape, she brought Damon like the werewolf antidote, that sort of thing. Like, she's going to do what she can to return the favor and be reciprocal to people who respect her and show mutual respect and everything like that. But she's still going to make sure she's in a situation where she can do that, and it's not in a way where it's going to harm her. And again, I think this is so important for us too. I think oftentimes when we try to be there for friends or family, any sort of loved ones, we need to be very careful and make sure that we are in a position where we can do that. Because if we're not doing well and then we try to take care of someone else, not going to be a great combo. So I also went ahead and asked AI what lessons we can learn from Katherine's character, because I got curious to see if I left anything out. I do think I kind of nailed it all in the head, but I will go through what AI also said. Never give up on love. Despite her hardships, Katherine's persistent desire to love and be loved is a relatable trait. Very true. Fight for family. Her efforts to reconnect with her daughter, Nadia, highlight her protective and loving side. 3. Self-preservation. Katherine's survival instincts teach the importance of prioritizing one's safety and well-being. 4. Embrace emotions. Unlike others, she never turned off her humanity, showing the strength in facing one's emotions. And 5. Use knowledge wisely. Her strategic use of information and relationships underscores the values of being informed and resourceful. And then I asked AI how to be more like Katherine Pierce. Confidence, resourcefulness, emotional awareness, fighting for loved ones, and cultivating relationships. And I feel like especially cultivating relationships is a good point. Build connections with others who can support you. Katherine's ability to charm and befriend influential people often aids her survival. This might go a little bit more into the villain route than some of the other traits we've been talking about, but overall, I think that there is a lot that can be learned from Katherine, and I feel like in a lot of ways she is very much a fall villain-esque it girl that we could all benefit from copying once in a while, honestly. I definitely personally love to channel my inner Katherine if and when I can. I especially do it when I am getting ready to go out on the town. And I think that there is something to be said, and this is a separate topic altogether, but I think there's something to be said about the fact that she is mainly seen as a villain because she's a woman that is exhibiting these traits. And a lot of them aren't necessarily negative, in my opinion. Comment below what you think, and comment below any other villains you would want to see this sort of video done on during the month of October, and I will see you all tomorrow.